like to criticize Nintendo for recycling its franchises, adding minimal improvements and gradually inching them forward instead of completely reimagining them. If there's one series where this holds true, it's Pokemon. Remaining virtually unchanged since it debuted on the Game Boy Color in 1998, consumers have not utilized their lone power for change, their wallets. The series has continued to generate astonishing sales, and as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As the first proper Pokemon games for the DS, Diamond and Pearl haven't exactly been rushed to market, but has it resulted in renaissance or rut? While the people have changed, the story remains the same. If you've played any of the various Pokemon games, then you'll know fully what to expect from Diamond and Pearl. They take place in a brand new location called the Sinnoh region, but you still play as a young kid who leaves home in hopes of making it big in the world of Pokemon training. You can select to play as male or female, and the story is told through the same text bubbles it always has, with rungs and rungs of text to read. This, in itself, isn't so bad, but it's already been proven that the DS can do FMVs, so why not sprinkle a few inside one of the handheld's biggest games? Even the game's intro is low budget. There are literally thousands of characters littered around the Sinnoh region to interact with, but far too few of them offer up new items or quests, making the process of talking to each and every one of them a drag. There are a few minor plot twists to contend with, but for an RPG, the storytelling in Diamond and Pearl is decidedly flat. If you're looking for a game to plant in your DS and leave there for months on end, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl fits the bill nicely. The single-player quest is absolutely monstrous, and if you're the type who has to catch them all, it offers almost limitless playtime. There's just one mode per se, but within it, you get an array of features. The single-player quest is structured just like it always has been. You travel to each area of Sinnoh, battling rival trainers along the way to level up your Pokemon. When you get to a new town, you go to the gym to take on a string of trainers until you face the gym leader. Defeat him, and you'll get a badge that gives you access to new areas. Nothing new here. Visiting a Pokemon Center allows you to access all the new options. For the first time in the series' history, you can partake in online battles via Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. Here, you can upload any of your Pokemon below level 30 and duke it out against people around the world using just about any rules you can think of. 1-on-1, 2-on-2, you name it. You can even talk smack to your opponents using the DS's wired headset. For those who have had problems finding people to battle against in the past, it's a godsend. The online features don't stop there either. You can trade Pokemon by putting your critters up for auction with set trading conditions. Just keep in mind that the monster you receive in return may not obey if you don't have the proper credentials. One downer is that it utilizes friend codes in order to connect with others, but it also makes it easier to add friends, as people you trade with are automatically added to your list. As you might expect, collecting every last monster is what ultimately keeps you trudging forward. There are over 100 new Pokemon to add to your Pokédex, and you can even plug in any of your GBA versions into your DS and upload any that you've collected prior. One bonus to not drastically updating a franchise is that eventually there's a ton of features incorporated into the games. This has never been more clearly demonstrated than in Diamond and Pearl. There is so much to see and do that it's almost overwhelming, and with online battles and trading, finally those of us who aren't still in grade school can enjoy the full-on Pokemon experience. What many people forget is that Pokemon, at its heart, is a turn-based RPG, and nothing has changed here. You can select up to 6 different monsters to carry with you at any time, and each creature can use up to 4 attacks and spells. Just like prior games in the series, your Pokemon eventually gain new moves through items or gaining levels, and deciding which moves to learn and forget can present some difficult decisions. Battles come in 2 forms. You can fight against wild Pokemon in hopes of capturing them by venturing into long grass or caves, or you can take on rival trainers. Snagging new Pokemon can be tricky, because you have to whittle down their health bar until they're near death, and then toss a Pokeball. It's hard to anticipate how much a particular attack from a particular monster will drain the health of the opponent, and then some require status ailments before they can be captured. This brings up an issue the series has had for some time. There's just not enough information about the Pokemon inside the game. The effectiveness of each Pokemon type against other types varies greatly. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to know beforehand exactly how much damage each attack will do against a particular foe. Fanatics will say that this knowledge is what makes a great Pokemon trainer, but the realist will accept that it's a way to sell more strategy guides. Compounding this problem is the fact that each critter reacts to things differently. Some will evolve and become more powerful, while others will be limited after evolution. But there's simply no way to know this unless you buy a strategy guide. As far as touchscreen controls are concerned, they're basically pointless. You can navigate battle screens this way, but for movement and interaction, you always have to use the D-pad and buttons. There aren't any mini-games that utilize the touchscreen either. Despite a couple wrinkles to the formula, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl plays exactly like prior games in the series. Veterans will be able to jump right in and start collecting, and thanks to some serious hand-holding, the learning curve for newcomers is slight. Even so, this is the same game we've been playing for 9 years now. It was hoped that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl would bring the series to the DS with new gameplay features and improved visuals, but that's really not the case. There are a few slight tweaks here and there, and the online functionality is surprisingly robust, but otherwise, this game could have been done on the Game Boy Advance with minimal issues. At the same time, there's more content on this card than 4 typical DS games combined, so you're definitely getting your money's worth in entertainment, provided you haven't already given up on collecting them all.